Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to share a few ways how you can prepare to be a pipeline welder. If you haven't already, make sure and get you a cup of coffee.
All right, well, I'm not a pipeline welder or I'm not even a welder. For any of you that want to get into the welding industry, check out this guy's channel. He's got some pretty cool content that he likes to teach and educate and try to help those who are interested in getting into the welding industry. And check out this video and see what it takes to get into the pipeline welding.
Because that's one of the best ways to enjoy these videos, is to drink coffee with me and sit back and just enjoy the video. To go ahead and clear it up, you do not necessarily need to get any certain certifications to be a pipeline welder. I know that can be kind of confusing. Luckily for you, we've made a video explaining why you don't technically need certifications to get a pipeline job. We'll put a link in the description of that video or in one of these corners. That way you can go catch up on the subject of certifications. With that being said, getting certifications is a good way to get experience. So certifications aren't a bad thing for pipeline, and that's actually my number one thing to prepare you for pipeline work, which is to get experience. That could be
Getting experience and certifications can go a long way in almost any trade. I know for the lineman trade, you're going to need at least your Class A CDL at a minimum if you want to get into the lineman trade. CPR first aid will help. Getting your flagging certification will help. If you already have your crane certification, I think you get your crane certification inside the apprenticeship now. But yeah, the more certifications and more experience you have prior to getting into a trade is always going to help you when it comes to working in that said trade.
going to a welding school. That could be just welding at home with a MIG. It could be going to work for somebody for, doesn't matter for the hourly amount, just get welding experience and get lots of it. That's the number one thing you can do to prepare yourself to be a pipeline welder. Lots and lots and lots of welding experience. Another thing you can do to prepare yourself to be a pipeline welder is to get a steady job. Getting a steady job is going to allow you to get a loan to buy your welding rig. The truck, the welder, all the tools. That's just one option. It's the way I went about it. Right after high school, I got a steady welding job, but you wouldn't even have to have a welding job, although it's a win-win because I was getting experience and I was able to get a loan for my first welding truck and start building my mobile welding rig. Because to be a pipeline welder, you have to have a welding truck. You have to be.
This is another good point that he makes. The fact that if you get a steady job out of high school, like if you want to get into any trade, you know, before you get into an apprenticeship or whatever trade you want to get into, you know, getting just a job in a trade is going to help you get experience and you can make money. For certain trades, there's going to be certain things that you need to buy. For the lineman trade, you're going to need climbing tools, you're going to need hand tools, purchase things later on in your career as you go down the road. Other trades, I mean, you're going to need tools. Whether the company provides them for you, which is, I don't know, 50-50. I like to buy and have my own tools, so anywhere I go, I know I'm going to have the necessary tools to get the job done. So by having a steady job and making some money, getting experience, and being able to have your own stuff, the proper gear and proper tools is going to help you.
Be mobile. Another thing you can do to prepare yourself is, I've kind of already mentioned it, but buy you a 1-ton dually or 3/4 ton. 3/4 ton will work also. We will also link another video in the description about what truck you need for pipeline welding. But in short, you need a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton. You'll also need to buy you a welding machine. I recommend an SA200 just because of the lower cost and the type of machine. It's built for pipeline welding, more or less, to keep it simple. If you can afford a diesel machine like mine, an SAE 300 or a Miller 350 or a Miller 400, by all means, those will work also. You'll also need lots of tools for your welding truck. Grinder, welding lead, oxygen, acetylene, cutting torch, fabrication tools, levels, squares, all kinds of different tools. If this is all starting to sound overwhelming, I understand. So you're working your steady job, you're getting a weekly check, you're getting steady experience, hopefully if it's a welding job. You're slowly putting together your welding rig. Outside of your steady job, once you get that welding rig put together, start working out of that welding rig. Start working it, start putting it to work. Not only is that going to allow you to create some more income, but at minimum, it's gaining you more experience. So if you can't find any work to work your welding rig, don't worry about that. Just work it. Build your own stuff. Build stuff for friends and family. Build stuff for your farm. Work that welding truck. In my opinion, working that welding truck in your situation is more valuable than the money that you'll make with that welding rig where you're at in the process right now. Getting experience with that stick welder and getting experience with that hand torch is preparing you for being a pipeline welder. Next is start practicing downhill welding. Stick welding in general, like I said, but downhill welding is going to help you buy you some pipe or trade some work, trade some of your skill set for some pipe, or if you do happen to get some jobs, some pipe fence jobs or something, take some of that pipe and just start running 60-10 beads on the top of it. Don't even bevel it, just start running beads. Take you a 4-foot section of 2 7/8 pipe, 2 3/8 pipe, and just start capping it. Cap the whole thing on both sides with 60-10, 80-10, 1/8 diameter, 5/32 diameter, doesn't matter. Just start welding on pipe. Of course, it's not bad to practice in a bevel.
He makes a good point there about just practicing welding on pipe if you want to go work on a pipeline, uphill and downhill welding. It's completely different than just welding on a flat surface. This is something else that will work in any other trade, not as far as welding up and downhill on pipe, but as far as just like practicing things before you get into a certain trade or apprenticeship. Like wanting to get into a lineman apprenticeship, there are certain things that you can do yourself at home that are going to help you, like learning to tie knots, learning some of the basic math, electrical theory. Like there's certain little things that don't require too much, but can help you once you get into the trade, once you get into the apprenticeship, that are going to help you be, better prepared and a little bit, maybe help you be a little bit more successful. That goes in any trade. I can almost guarantee you that any trade you want to get into, preparing yourself, you will never be all the way prepared. It's impossible to be all the way prepared. That's why a lot of guys won't jump into it and do it, is because, oh, I'm not prepared enough. I'm not prepared. It's like, well, you'll never be prepared. But there are just certain little things. Learning to weld up and downhill, learning to tie knots, learning certain applications of math and rigging. Like little things like this and that, electrical theory, that can help you just once you get in. So he makes a good point.
Either. So to practice welding in a bevel on a budget, check out another video that'll be in the description of how to bevel pipe without a beveling machine. This here that you've been looking at throughout this whole video so far is a beveling machine, but it is a pricey endeavor. Handy, but pricey. You can use those methods on 2-inch pipe, which is way more affordable than bigger pipe, 6, 8, 10, 12 inch. Hand bevel you some 2-inch, practice putting in a bead with 1/8 60-10. Do that as much as possible. You cannot do that too much. So get you some pipe and start practicing your pipe welding. Last thing on my list of things to prepare you for pipeline welding is socialize. Visit with everyone you run into. Don't just talk about yourself, ask about them, but in the process, let it be known that you are very interested in pipeline work. Start building relationships with anyone and everyone by having a welding truck, going into weld supplies, visiting with others on social media platforms like the A-Ross Welding Inner Circle, Facebook, Instagram, whatever other platforms are out there. By doing all these things, socializing, building relationships, networking with people, and letting it be known to anyone and everyone that that is what you want to do, that will help you prepare for getting a pipeline job. That will move you in the right.
Another great point, networking and just like asking questions is very, very valuable. Gym I go to, there's a gentleman in there. I know I'm one of the 10 linemen that work out at that gym. We started talking. I asked him what he did. He's like, oh, I do this right now, but like I kind of want to try something else out. Like I like working with my hands. I don't like working in an office. And I was like, oh yeah, like I was telling him I'm a lineman. And he's like, that's actually something I've been interested in. And I was like, oh, well, this is what I know. Actually, here's my phone number. Ask me any questions. I'll send you some stuff. But I also known other linemen that work in the gym. So I introduced him to other linemen that work for the utility locally where I'm at. And, he started talking to them, and then now he has a network of 5-6 guys at the gym that he sees and has their phone number, and he can call or text, talk to them if he has any questions. And I know right now for a fact he's in the process of actually getting a job at the local utility here because he was just networking and talking and showed true interest and intent of wanting to become a lineman and get into the trade. He's on the path right now of getting his foot in the door to wanting to get into an lineman apprenticeship, and then hopefully get through into the apprenticeship and complete the apprenticeship and become a journeyman lineman. So networking and just talking to people that are in the trade you want to get into is extremely valuable, because most blue collar people in the trades love helping each other out. If you have questions, you come to me and ask me a question. Most guys are more than willing to talk about their trade, because a lot of guys take pride in the trade. They take pride in what they do, what they build. So of course they'd love to talk to you about it, answer any of the questions you have, and help you where they can. So it's a very, very, very valuable point Austin makes here.
Right direction. In tip number 1, I suggested potentially a welding school. That's one of the reasons welding school is a really good way to start getting welding experience, because not only are you getting lots of hood time, but you're also in a school with other welders, instructors that have had pipeline jobs, that have pipeline connections. Not saying you will get a job, but it is a really good place to meet people. You gotta have skills and you gotta know people. All of these things take time. So lastly, the next thing you can do to prepare for being a pipeline welder is be consistent and be steady. Consistently be working on your skill, consistently be networking with people, keeping in touch with people, and consistently be patient. Be patient, but be doing also. As long as you're doing, you're gaining. I hope this video was helpful.
All right, well, there you have it. Austin explained if you want to get into pipeline welding, and welding as an industry that you would want to get into, check out his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff on his YouTube channel. I'll have a link in the description below. There you have it. He listed out a lot of good points that are relative to getting into pipeline welding, but also are points that can help in other trades as well. So hopefully you enjoy this video. With Blueprint, we're here to expose, teach, and educate you about blue collar opportunities. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one.